Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. Hope you're having a lovely day. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Today, we are going to talk about money and excuses. Now, I want to start this one with a little bit of a disclaimer. If you are not ready to change your relationship with money, don't watch this one because it's probably going to really annoy you, okay? Because I'm going to be talking about excuses. And sometimes our excuses are so deeply ingrained within our belief system, within our past reality, within everything that we've grown up with, we can easily fall into the trap of justifying why it isn't an excuse. It's valid, it's reality, okay, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So if you're not at the point where you're ready to actually make a change, not that you want to make a change, that you need to make a change to your relationship with money, if you're not at that point where you need to do something, then probably don't watch this because it might probably rub you the wrong way, and that is not my intention, okay? However, I want to give forewarning because until we become aware of what our thought patterns are, what our beliefs are, what are the things that are actually stopping us from having more money, and until we're open to hearing that and exploring that without any judgment, okay, it is what it is. But until you're at a point where you're ready to do that and look at that, nothing's going to change, and this might move you further away from it, okay? So if you are ready, come on in. Let's have a look at why our excuses are keeping us stuck. Good morning, Elaine. Lovely to see you, darling. And look, our excuses can keep us stuck in a lot of things, but today we're just going to specifically focus on money, okay? Now, when we have grown up, so when we're very little, so that between being born and 7 years old, we're very unconscious. We're just roaming around the earth, soaking everything in. So this is where a lot of our beliefs are formed, and especially around money. I know that I was guilty of saying to our kids when we were little, we can't afford it. Sometimes we couldn't afford it. Sometimes it was because I didn't want to buy it for them, okay? And that was like the easier way out. But when I think about it now, and this is one of those things where it's like, it is what it is. It's not about judging. We do the best that we can in the moment with what we know. So when I think about it now, yeah, okay, that wasn't probably a good thing to do. However, what can I do now to help my kids change their relationship with money as well? Okay, so let me get back to what my point was. When we're growing up, this is where a lot of our beliefs are formed. So depending on what your parents believed about money, what your grandparents believed about money, what your great-grandparents believed, because these things are passed down through the generations. And if you grew up hearing things like, it's hard to make money, or, we can't afford it, money doesn't grow on trees, what do I look like, I'm made of money, rich people are greedy, all of these things, when we hear them at that very young formative age, we just soak it in and we accept it for truth, okay, because we don't have the maturity, emotional intelligence, life experience, or anything like that to go, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound right. So we take it on as truth. Good morning, Ellie Sugars. Nice to see you too, darling. So our money beliefs especially can be very, very deeply ingrained, all right? And then because that happens, it sort of silently in the background is forming our beliefs. It forms how we see money. It forms the basis for what we do with money as we get older, okay? And it's our financial mindset that is going to negatively or positively impact how much money you have, more than your income, because you can have an incredible income. You could be making a lot of money, But if you've got a mindset that is not is still around lack, or you don't have a good relationship with money, then you're going to burn through that. And this is why you can see people who have a lot of money who still, they work paycheck to paycheck. Okay. So what I want to do here today is to help you guys to recognize where you've got these excuses. Because if you continue to perpetuate them, this is where you're going to continue to have more of the same. So this is where the law of attraction is coming in. So like energy attracts like energy. If you constantly focus on the lack, you're going to get more evidence of lack in your life. And this evidence is what cements in these beliefs, which makes our excuses seem very, very real and very, very valid. And we can sometimes defend them, and we can justify them. However, you can also challenge them, and you can also create a shift. You can change your beliefs, you can change your perception, but you have to have the awareness first. Okay, so this is where you can't sort of put the horse before the cart. No, you want the horse. I don't know. I've muffed up that. But you have to have that awareness first. This is my point. You've got to have awareness that you are making excuses. So what I want you guys to do, here's a little practical exercise for you, is to write down your top 3 money excuses, okay? Now, it'll be those little throwaway comments that we heard growing up. Can't afford it, or it's hard to make money. Money's hard to hold on to. I'm not good with money. I would have more money if... and then whatever comes after that will be an excuse, I don't have more money because whatever comes after that will be an excuse. All right. So write them down. Write down as many as you want, but if you want to just start slow, just start with 3. Start with 1. Just start, okay? Because awareness, you got to have that awareness. And then once you've written down however many excuses you have, I want you to challenge them. Who taught you that? Where did you hear it? Is it an absolute truth? Now, this is where it can get tricky, okay? Well, yeah, Helen, it is, because, I'm bad with money and my bank account shows me that I'm bad with money, so therefore it is true, okay? Truth is a very loose concept because it's all to do with perception and your beliefs. It's all linked in really closely. So when you're looking at that, is it an absolute truth? I want you to ask yourself, is it possible that there is at least one person on this planet who has the opposite belief to me, or has the opposite truth? So if your excuse is, I would have more money, except that, I've got a bad job, or my job doesn't pay me enough, or something like that. I want you to think, okay, well, is it possible that there is somebody actually who is doing the same job as you who doesn't believe that they believe that they have money, that they believe that they can make more money? All right. If your excuse is, well, I'm just not good with money, is it possible that there's at least one person on this planet who is good with money? Okay, because if it's possible for somebody else, it is also possible for you. So that's what I'm talking about when I want you to challenge your beliefs. Who taught you, and is it possible that it's maybe not true like you think it's true? Okay. And then I want you to reframe your excuses into something that is more empowering. So if you are saying to yourself, well, I'm not good with money, then change it to, and don't try and jump too fast, okay? So if it's I'm not good with money, don't try and jump to I am good with money, because that can sometimes feel like too big a leap, all right? You want it to be something that is plausible, that you believe, that makes you feel good. So if I'm not good with money and I am good with money, if it feels good, fantastic, do it. If it doesn't, all right, then maybe there's a little stepping stone in between that, where it could be, I'm learning to manage money better. I'm getting better with money. Okay. So you can just change it, reframe it into something that still is plausible, that is moving you away from the I'm not good with, towards I am good with, but at the pace that works for you. Because remember, it is all about how your words make you feel. If you're just saying these words and you really have resistance around it, you may as well not say those words. Actually, you're better to not say those words, because remembering the law of vibration, everything vibrates. The words we say to ourselves causes a vibration, causes us to feel. The law of attraction is going to then bring more of the same vibration, whatever's vibrating on that same energy level, it'll bring more of that to us. Okay, so when you're reframing your statements, make sure that they feel good, or they're starting to feel better, and then you get to change them up. What you choose now is what you have now. And then as you continue to focus on I'm getting better with money, every day I'm getting better, or I'm learning more, or I'm embracing what I have, the more you focus on that, then the better you're going to feel, and then you can take that next step. And eventually you will get to the point where you're saying to yourself, well, you know what, I am good with money. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you've got questions around that, or if you're stuck, not sure how to reframe something, pop it in the comments, because I'm happy to help you guys out with this. I want you guys to be able to do this for yourself, learn how to do it, and then practice it, because that's how you're going to be sustainable with it. All right, you don't need me to do it. You guys are very capable. You might just need a little helping hand, or you might just need some examples. Okay, all right, so doing this as well is putting that law of inspired action into place. So taking these little steps, making these little shifts, whether it is an action, whether it is thought, a belief, anything that you're doing that is moving towards where you want to be, is using the law of inspired action. So that is going to help with your momentum as well. And just be really aware of your language. You know, if you're finding that you do slip back, and you will, and that's okay. If you find yourself saying, oh no, I can't afford it, because that is your automatic default, become aware of it. And then in that moment, you can even reframe those and say, instead of I can't afford it, you can reframe it to, how can I make this possible? You know, what needs to happen for me to be able to afford this? Of course, if you want that thing, that is, all right. But even if you don't want it, start practicing changing your language. And that in itself, using that, you know, what needs to happen, or how can I make this possible, that is opening up your mind, opening up your perspective to more creative solutions as well. Okay. All right. So this week, do that little exercise. Write down your excuses, challenge them. You know, is it possible that somebody else believes the opposite to this? And if that is possible, then it's possible for you as well. Reframe them. Maybe set yourself a little financial goal. Maybe save a little bit of money. So instead of buying a coffee every day, don't do that. Put the money that you would have saved. I went and bought a coffee the other day, and it was a tiny one that is normally a little one, and it was like $7, and then it went up from there for a regular size. It's like, holy crap, that's ridiculous. So I didn't get one, because I thought, you know, I'm not paying that. But I've got a coffee machine at home, so I make sure that I make myself a coffee. So I'm not depriving myself of coffee. I'm just finding a different way that is going to allow me to have money to spend on other things. And how you think about this as well, how you see that is important. You're not depriving yourself. It's not that you can't afford it. You are choosing not to, and you are choosing a different way. So maybe set a small financial goal. Maybe you can save the money that you normally would have spent on coffee or lunches. Make yourself lunch and put it into a little account. You will be surprised at how quickly these little tiny amounts, they add up very fast over time. Okay. Maybe another little goal that you can have is to read a book on money. If you're not good with money, then read a book from somebody who is good with money. So the two books that really helped me is The Barefoot Investor. That was fantastic. And Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. those two books really helped shift my perspective on money. Okay, they're fantastic books. Yeah, be aware of your language. So if you're saying I can't afford it, then just pick yourself up and go, oh, hang on a minute, I said that again. That's okay. Let's reframe it to something else. And you can even start a little journal. If you're somebody who likes to journal, then write it down. I saved money here, or, I got a discount. That's really good. That's a money win. Somebody bought me a coffee. Anything that has to do with a positive experience with money, you can start writing those things down, because then that helps you to remember them. It helps you acknowledge them, helps you appreciate them, and it keeps that good feeling going. Okay. And the last one I want to leave you with as an actionable step is to start to find appreciation in everything that has to do with money. So if you have a job, appreciate that you have a job. Not everyone does. Appreciate that they pay you. If you have your own business, appreciate your clients. Appreciate that they come to you and are trusting you with whatever service you're providing. Appreciate your bills as they come in. So if you're getting an electricity bill, appreciate the fact that you have electricity. So all of these things, see if you can find something to be grateful for when it comes to the money side of things. Okay. Now, it can be hard to do that at first. However, I reckon if you give it a good crack, you will be able to get there. And that appreciation is going to help you change your relationship with money as well. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to leave you with a quote. I don't know who said this, but the quote is, excuses will always be there for you, but opportunity won't. All right. So let's start to get aware of those excuses. Let's turn them around. Let's change our perspective, change our beliefs, open up our life to more of what we want, and let's just see what happens. All right. Have an amazing day, everyone. If you want to write something in the comment, I'd love to hear, what is a money excuse that you used to have, and what did you do to replace it? Because your story can also inspire other people as well. All right. Have an amazing day. I will see you on Friday. We're going to be talking about, are your excuses keeping you stuck in the same body? So we're going to shift our excuses over to the health side of things. All right, everyone. Have an amazing day. I will see you later. Bye-bye.